Yo, so Nicki Minaj just did the unthinkable. Like, I'm talking career suicide type stuff right here. Ariana Grande unfollowed her. Selena Gomez unfollowed her. Kim Petras, who literally just worked with her, dropped her completely. And when I tell you what Nicki said at this Trump event, when I show you the receipts of how she went from dragging Trump in 2010 to calling him the best president ever, you're gonna lose your mind. Because this isn't just about politics anymore. Ruby Rose just came out exposing what really happened on Nicki's tour. Don Lemon went off. The entire music industry is watching this woman burn every single bridge she ever built. And the craziest part? She's acting like none of this is happening. So sit back, because we're about to go through every single celebrity reaction, every unfollow, every diss, and I'm gonna show you exactly why people are saying Nicki Minaj's career might actually be over. All right, so let me set the scene for you. Nicki Minaj shows up to this Treasury Department summit in Washington, D.C. They're launching something called Trump accounts, which is like a financial thing for newborn babies or whatever. But that's not even the crazy part. Nicki gets up there and calls herself Trump's #1 fan. Like dead ass, just says it with her whole chest.
I am probably the president's #1 fan.
Then she starts going off about how people criticizing Trump are just bullying him and that God is protecting him. Bro, I had to pause the video when I first saw this because I genuinely thought it was edited. But wait, it gets worse. She pledges between $150,000 to $300,000 to fund these Trump accounts. Like, girl, that's a down payment on a house for most people, and you're just throwing it at Trump like that? And then Trump gets up there and calls her the greatest and most successful female rapper in history.
She's the greatest and most successful female rapper in history. Nicki Minaj. Come on. And, you know...
Which, like, okay, we can debate that, but the way he said it felt so transactional. Like, you give me money, I give you compliments type energy. Now here's where it gets really wild. This is the same woman who in 2020 said, and I quote, "I will not jump on the Donald Trump bandwagon." She talked about how the images of children being separated from their parents at the border raised her eyebrows because she was an immigrant child herself. She said that really bothered her. So what happened between 2020 and now? How do you go from that to this? And trust me, the celebrities are asking the same exact questions. So the first thing that starts happening is the quiet unfollows. And when I say quiet, I mean these girls didn't say a word. They just hit that unfollow button and kept it moving. Selena Gomez unfollowed her. Now Selena doesn't really do drama like that, so for her to unfollow somebody, you know it's serious. Like, Selena's whole thing is spreading positivity and mental health awareness. So seeing Nicki align herself with Trump probably didn't sit right with her at all. Then Ariana Grande unfollowed her too. And listen, Ariana's been pretty vocal about her political views. She's been supporting progressive causes for years. She's not about to sit there and follow somebody who's out here praising Trump like he's the second coming. The internet noticed immediately, because you know how people are. They check the follower lists like it's their full-time job. And when they saw both Selena and Ariana dipped, Twitter went absolutely insane. But here's the thing that really hit different. Kim Petras unfollowed her. Now, if you don't know, Kim Petras is a trans woman, and she literally just collaborated with Nicki on a song called Alone in 2023. Like, they just worked together. Kim had been out here talking about how much she admired Nicki, but after this whole MAGA turn, Kim unfollowed and started posting about how she can't stay silent when she sees rhetoric and alliances that threaten trans people. She didn't name Nicki directly, but the timing? Come on now. We all know exactly who she was talking about. That's when I knew this was getting real, because Kim cutting ties meant this wasn't just about politics. This was about values, identity, and feeling betrayed by someone you thought had your back. Okay, so things escalate even further when Nicki starts going after Don Lemon. And I need you to understand how messy this got. Don Lemon was reporting on some protest at a church that was allegedly connected to ICE, normal journalism stuff. But Nicki didn't like what he was saying, so she tweets at him and uses a homophobic slur. Like, girl, what are you doing? Don Lemon is openly gay. Your fan base has been built on LGBTQ+ support for over a decade. The Barbs literally have so many gay fans who've been riding for you since Pink Friday. And this is how you move? Don Lemon did not hold back. He went on his show and basically said, look, Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. Then he brought up the fact that she's reportedly not even a US citizen yet. He said under Trump's rules, she should be deported because she's undocumented. Now that's a wild thing to say, but he was making a point about the hypocrisy. Like, you're supporting a man whose immigration policies would literally affect you and your family, but you're up here acting like you're untouchable because you got money. Then Don went even harder. He said, why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman? And he was talking directly to her gay fans. He was like, She just called me a slur and you're still streaming her music? Make it make sense. That clip went so viral, I saw it everywhere. And you could tell Don was genuinely hurt and angry because this wasn't just political disagreement. This was personal disrespect, using language that targets his identity. So then Ruby Rose enters the chat. You know Ruby Rose. She was on Orange is the New Black. She's a model. She's been in the industry for a minute. Ruby comes out and defends Don Lemon, which, cool, solidarity. We love to see it. But then she starts talking about her own experience working with Nicki Minaj back in 2012 on the Pink Friday Reloaded tour. And yo, the tea she spilled was scalding. Ruby said that the entire staff on that tour lived in constant fear of being fired. She said Nicki had to fire someone after every single show. Like, imagine that environment. You're trying to do your job and you know that no matter what, somebody's getting fired tonight. That's psychotic behavior if that's true. But Ruby kept going. She said that one time, Nicki threatened to fire the entire team because someone revealed her real age through birthday messages. Her real age. Like, it's that serious? Ruby said she'd been holding on to these stories for months, but decided to speak up after seeing how Nicki treated Don Lemon. And honestly, that's usually how it goes. One person speaks up, and then everybody else who's been quiet starts feeling brave enough to share their experiences too. The internet started digging up more stories from other people who worked with Nicki. Makeup artists, dancers, production crew, and a lot of them were nodding along like, yep, that tracks. Now, I gotta say, we don't know if all of this is 100% true. Ruby could be exaggerating. She could have her own reasons for coming forward now. But the fact that multiple people are corroborating similar stories about Nicki being difficult to work with, that's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. Here's what I think is really happening though. This isn't just about Nicki supporting Trump. Like, yeah, that's the headline. That's what everyone's talking about. But I think what's really bothering people is the hypocrisy. In 2010, Nicki was out here calling out Donald Trump for his misogyny. She said when a woman is assertive, she's a bitch. But when a man is assertive, he's a boss. She used Trump as the example of how men get away with everything. She said Martha Stewart couldn't run her company the same way Trump runs his without being called evil. Fast forward to 2025, and she's standing next to this man calling him the best president of all time. She's at Turning Point USA events. For those who don't know, Turning Point USA is the organization that fired a trans teaching assistant for grading a paper correctly. They're the same people whose founder Charlie Kirk said he didn't think Nicki Minaj was a good role model for black children. He literally said that. And now she's at their events smiling and talking about how young conservatives give her hope? Look, at the end of the day, Nicki Minaj is a grown woman. She can support whoever she wants. She can make whatever political choices she feels are right for her. That's her freedom. But freedom of choice doesn't mean freedom from consequences. And the consequences are rolling in heavy right now. She's losing respect from her peers. She's losing fans who genuinely loved her. She's becoming a cautionary tale about what happens when you prioritize proximity to power over principles. What really gets me is how avoidable all of this was. She could have just stayed quiet. She could have supported Trump privately if that's what she wanted to do. But she had to go make it a whole spectacle. She had to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars publicly. She had to call him the best president ever. She had to go after people with slurs. Like, girl, you did this to yourself. The saddest part is watching someone who is so talented, so influential, so important to hip-hop culture just throw it all away. For what? For a pat on the head from Donald Trump? For a temporary feeling of being welcomed by people who were calling you a bad influence just a few years ago? It doesn't make sense. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we're all sitting here trying to make sense of something that just doesn't have a logical explanation. All I know is the celebrities have spoken, the unfollows have happened, the callouts have been made, and Nicki Minaj is sitting in the middle of all this chaos acting like everything's fine. But it's not fine. And whether her career is actually over or not, one thing's for sure. Nothing's ever gonna be the same. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.